Hey, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to our reading, our collective reading. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Starting with some oracle cards here. Anything else? We have one. I can't see what it is. It's upside down. Anything else from this deck? Okay. All right. We have, harpy eagle. These eagles are so amazing. You should go Google what these eagles look like in real life. They are like 3 to 4 feet tall. I don't know, maybe that's not accurate, but that's what I thought I saw. And they have like faces, almost like human-like faces. So this harpy eagle talks about a very strong female presence. And it very much specifies in the booklet for this deck by Matt Hughes that this is the female of the eagle. So eagles, whenever we're getting an eagle in a reading, we're talking vision, overview, like a higher vision of something. This harpy eagle is always very determined, but it does talk about a tweak to the vision, a tweak to the overall vision of what we're aiming at. Or maybe even just taking a step back to get the overall vision. There is a lot of determination and focus. So there's a strong, like, I almost want to say goal-oriented vibe to this harpy eagle, but there's also having an overall vision. And I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a change of course, seeing something a little differently. It's a tweak, not a complete rehaul. This could be a person that you're dealing with in your life right now. Not necessarily you, but a very strong-willed. I mean, this is such a powerful bird when you see like videos of the harpy eagle. It was, I hadn't seen that. I don't know. It's just amazing, amazing bird. But talking about strength, feminine strength, however you want to define that for you will obviously work for you. So what's going on? There's something where something's not quite coming out, but it's also not going back in here. Okay. Okay, so this new moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe. So there is, the new moons always talk about going into some unknown area. This is the Moonology deck. Some unknown area, some unknown aspect, taking a risk without guaranteed outcome. Cancer, there's some major planet in Cancer right now. So you and your loved ones are safe. So not needing to be defensive. You are protected. You have this hard shell provided for you by the universe, right? You are protected. And so this comes in as an answer to maybe perhaps some anxieties, some fears, something happening where you don't know what the outcome is. And it's a reassurance. So we may need that reassurance in the week ahead that you and your loved ones are safe. Or maybe you are safe now. Like maybe that's just reminding you that you can, if you've been through something that felt unsafe, you can relax now. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's safe. So there's that reminder. And then we have the crumbling here, which I find really interesting because last week we were being the tower. And in this deck, the Work Your Light Magic deck, or Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. This is the Tower card. So see how this is a ruin. This is an old building. This is what we would call ruins, or, a defunct castle. Something is happening to break it open, and there's this new world through this darkness. So this is sort of the tower, right? So it is like something may feel like a crisis. We are being told that you and your loved ones are safe. So there is something about a structure in your life that is not going to be, that's no longer viable, no longer going to be there. It is making way for new life, right? That's the way of life. Like there's always a new day. There's always something that comes next. So we're not staying in this. We're not going to stay in this defunct castle that no longer has electricity, can't keep us warm, can't even keep us safe. In fact, right, when the castle is crumbling and falling into disrepair, it's actually unsafe to stay inside the castle. It's more unsafe to stay in the place of safety than it is to venture out and to go out. So we also have like a lightning storm. Normally you want to be inside for that, but if you happen to be outside, do not, stand under a tree or go swimming in a lake or anything like that. Like, so there's something here shocking. There could be a shocking surprise here. But it is a transition into a new life. The structure is crumbling, so that would mean like an evacuation from that old structure that no longer works, is no longer safe. What has been safe is not safe. And then we have this: you and your loved ones are safe here. What was safe is no longer safe. So right, where it's something, it feels like something that you've turned to for shelter is no longer providing shelter and is in fact becoming the exact opposite of shelter. And so then we have this crack though into the new world, and I want to, that's something to focus on. Where are we going from here? Okay, this doesn't work anymore. This isn't possible anymore. But where do we go from here? And focusing on this opening, this sort of dilation into a new life, into a new situation here. And then unbound, releasing old patterns, contracts, and past lives. Yeah, this is, and this is, says, what are you clinging on to? And releasing that. This is an old contract, an old pattern, an old structure in your life that maybe was a comfort zone, a safety zone, home base. I'm thinking of like Sorry, and how you get into that zone on your way up there, But it's like you gotta reverse and you're out of the zone now. But you're not. That analogy isn't quite complete, but maybe it is. So this unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So letting go of this. Basically, this almost feels like the same card. The way this card's coming in here as being an old structure that is no longer workable, and you letting go of that old structure. That's no longer how you're moving forward. And maybe you signed a contract for this, or maybe you you could have signed a contract. We're talking about contracts, but you're being released from a past contract. Maybe a past agreement, a past promise, a past behavior that's always felt safe to you. But it's going to feel, I think, good and lighter, because this thing is heavy and fall-aparty and unsafe anyway. So you're letting go of a contract that just isn't working. And you may not have been the one to break the contract. Someone else may have broken the contract. And just, this is reminding me of South Node, North Node work too in astrology. Of like how you've done something in the past may not be, you don't have to just keep doing it that way. It's no longer safe. It could be, this could be a relationship, a friendship, a relationship with this harpy eagle that's just no longer serves the purpose. It's not going to work anymore. And maybe there was like a social contract there or something like that, but this is saying you don't have, for something that's no longer working or no longer feels safe, you don't have to, it's okay. That's what I'm saying. It's okay to let this old relationship go, this old contract go, social contract, physical contract. It's okay to move on. Right. And we were talking about this eagle as both the possibility of being someone that you know. So this could be someone that you no longer feel good about or safe about, and you don't have to continue having a strong relationship with someone that you don't feel that is no longer safe, where that is not only not a shelter, but now a danger. So, but this could also, this harpy eagle, I think, can double as you as well, needing to just kind of shift vision in a situation, right? This situation isn't working anymore, so shifting your vision still being determined, still being, you know, focused on what you want, on what's going to work. And this safety thing, I think, is saying that you, maybe this is a matter of feeling safe, which you wouldn't in this crumbling ruin. You wouldn't feel safe anymore. But I also think this is saying that it is safe to move on. You don't have to stay here. So there's something that keeps saying, like, staying in sort of a situation, a relationship, friendship, friends, family, lovers, whatever, if it doesn't feel safe anymore, you're free to go. Um, and there might be more safety without than within. All right. Now we're going to move on to the tarot. Even though I've already shuffled this, we're just going to do it again. All right. You know what? You want to come out. It just kind of slid off the top here. 3 of Fire. So I'm not taking this as the underline. I'm taking this as a bonus card here. This is going to be our 3 of Wands. This is a lot of faith in the future. And I think that we're getting that here with this card too, is having faith in the future. And with this card, like, look how great the future looks. Like, there's better. There's better. There's better than this. This feels like almost cold and like it reminds me of like winter and being stuck inside and it not being, you know, and then spring comes and you don't really quite realize that spring is here and that there's warmer, better, more livelier places to be. You haven't quite realized that there's a change here in the landscape, that the landscape has come alive and that there's a much more outside where you once sought shelter. Outside of that, there's a something that's very much alive and you're not obligated to stay there. So yeah, and that's what this is too, is there's something out here that's very much more alive than where you've been. And maybe where you've been was alive. Like maybe this castle had like parties and tea times with friends and a lot of really great events there. A great births and deaths and a lot of really cool things may have happened in this place where you've been. But there's new life beckoning to you, and that's exactly what this wants to focus on too, is just focusing on the vision, right? And we have the harpy eagle reminding us again of the vision. So focusing on the vision and how alive it is. And I like that this is fire because this has a lot of warmth to me. It's coming through with a lot of warmth and a lot of life to it. And this sort of cold, lonely castle not being viable anymore. Maybe once it was a fabulous place, but, and it's asking us, I think, to focus on, of course, the new warmth, the new life, the spring, focusing on some sort of spring, because the landscape's changing. It's no longer something you need to take shelter from. It's something that can sustain you now. So leaving the shelter for the outdoors, for what you were taking shelter from, but it's not scary anymore. So 3 of Fire, having a huge amount of hope in the future. Lots of hope in the future. My hair is weird. It's always weird. All right. And then from the bottom of the deck, we have 7 of Fire. So underlying the reading, having the high ground and standing in it. This is really interesting because this has like a stasis, like having achieved something and being territorial about it, being very clear on what's yours. So someone's doing this or you're doing this, but there is a sense of having the high ground, having sort of these like urchins coming and trying to steal your thunder, or take you away from that which you're devoted to. This is devotion to something that you've already achieved or someplace where you're already at. And you may have naysayers like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. You know, I love how our culture is like, be yourself. No, not like that. No, we didn't approve of that. And this is like, well, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is where I am. So there's something about standing your ground But I think your ground is in this new life, is in new faith. We'll see what the rest of the cards come up with, but overall for the reading, underlying the reading is some place where you're having to stay firm, maybe even defend your position. And people coming for you, or doubts, and having to like carve out that space for yourself. No, this is like where you've already done that and now you need to claim it. No, you've already claimed it. Now you need to hold your position. This is about holding position, and I think this position might be in a dream or a vision, and having to deal with people that are like, oh no, that's never gonna work, you delusional child, how strange of you. Don't you realize safety, safety, safety. This came up in a private reading or a personal reading this week. That idea that our safety careers aren't always, you can always get laid off from your safety career. Your safety industry can always collapse as well. And how does that feel to have given up something you love for something that was, oh, I'll pay the bills, which needs to happen obviously, but and then have that itself not actually do the thing that it was supposed to do, which was to shelter you from the storms of life. So when people, I don't know, it's very interesting when people are naysay a passion when our safety zones aren't necessarily safe either. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. There's a lot of fire and water. Fire and water. And, putting each other out. But also with this Knight of Fire here, maybe a little steamy. There's a lot of twos here. All right, in the recent past, Two of Cups. So, oh my goodness, you guys, we left off with Two of Cups last week. Maybe it's possible that for some of us, we're talking about the Two of Cups that we left off of, the connection, the way we connected with someone or met someone or engaged with someone just recently. There's a lot under the surface. There's deep connection. I think that there's I don't want to say like there's a twin flame. No, that was exactly the wrong word, the word I was not going for. It's just because that can be so loaded and such an addictive idea for people, and such a way to keep people in destructive relationships, mostly with themselves, as they allow themselves to be strung along or harmed in some way by a dream, right? This vision, we need to have faith, we need to have hope, but sometimes hope in the idea, but maybe not hope in the individual, or that sounds weird, but hope in the, I don't know, hopefully you know what I mean. But this Two of Water, this was a kindred spirit, meeting someone that you really resonated with, that had your vibe. And water to me always talks about vibe. There's the vibe, there's the ripple of the water. And I love water because we can see the vibe on the water. We can see, what size ripples each pebble makes. We can see the individual ideas. We can see the raindrops falling and creating a whole, we can see vibration on water. And we know that it's happening with light, and we know that it's happening with sound, but we don't necessarily see it happening. So that's one thing I love about water, and why water would talk to me about vibe and vibing with someone. So I love that we have Two of Water, which is a vibe. There's someone that you know, that you care about, that you love, that you're resonating with, and that resonance, that the two drops sort of coming into the water and their vibes interacting, and these vibes interacting in a very pleasant way. There's also quite a bit under the surface with these two. I think we've just touched the surface of a friendship, a relationship. Two of Water does have soulmate vibes, but it can be temporary, momentary friendship. And so this could be someone that you've been friends with, that you, or someone that, I mean, just going on the last one, someone that you met recently that had a good vibe and that you vibed with. So Two of Water here, conversation or meeting someone or just really connecting deeply with someone. Current situation, Three of Water. So if this was a romantic vibing that happened, you are moving to friendship. If this was just a moment, it's moving to actual friendship or maybe even a party. So Three of Water would be friendship and or a party, an event, getting together with friends, sharing joys and concerns. I love the mermaids are all part of this water tribe here. So vibing together with a whole group, like-minded. There's some sort of similarity. There's some sort of like-mindedness that happens with these three together. So, and it can be more than three, but there's friendship here. So Two of Water can be a little more romantic or not. It can just be meeting someone and really connecting with them. Three of Water can be more of a friendship group, get together, support group sort of situation. So, but there's a lot of joy in hanging out with this person. There's a lot of, oh, that's really interesting because this Two of Water seems to have taken place at night, this connection. And then we bring it into the daylight. Now there's like a more open connection, maybe an integration into friendships, that kind of thing. This can also be, this harpy eagle seems to be part of this too. So there just seems to be some sort of like more open, clear friendship emerging here. And this Two of Water seems to be have a lot of questions to it. Is this, am I connecting to this person? Can I trust this person? Is this, I think the two of Water here has a lot of questions, a lot of unknown about the connection. We can feel the connection with someone or talking to someone, but there does seem to be like a lot of unknowns here and uncertainty. And then Three of Water, we bring it more into the light, a more obvious place, a more open. There's more openness here. There's more clarity, and yeah, it's beautiful, happy friendship. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. Well, this is Wheel of Fortune. Everybody's hopes and fears and inner landscape here. Wheel of Fortune, generally a very lucky card, wanting something to work out. We've got irises all over here, which has some sort of like the divine impact. And what I'm seeing here too is this fire, which keeps coming up here. We start with Seven of Fire. We had Three of Fire show its face here. So a lot of faith and a lot of hope in some sort of future of a relationship, possibly, of a friendship, possibly. I do think it's much more important for us. It's becoming more important for us to talk just generally as a society more openly about friendship, more openly about sort of the pandemic of loneliness people have suffered, not just during the pandemic, but just during busy lives. And I think just addressing that more directly is going to be helpful for everyone, and taking more direct action to look at that issue, to acknowledge the issue within ourselves and within the people we know and love, and just deal with it more directly as like, hey, there's a lot of loneliness here, and how do we deal with that? So that's something that I'm seeing here with this Two of Water, this like understanding that we aren't alone, but then this like more open acknowledgement of relationships and the importance of having relationships in our lives, which is, it is hard because people aren't perfect and they're not perfect for you all the time, and they're not exactly what you need, and some of them are really messed up and we need to distance ourselves from them for reasons. And so it is hard, but I'm seeing that flow here as far as like coming more openly engaging in friendship. So Wheel of Fortune, wanting the circumstances to change, wanting to see a change here, wanting, wanting a change, wanting maybe even the divine to come in and switch things up. I'm seeing the Libra sign here, the moon sign. I'm seeing fire. I'm seeing air. Circumstances. You kind of want circumstances to change. Things outside of your control. An event, perhaps. I mean, you want this to be lucky. You want to, but it's almost like you also want something else, something outside of you to happen. You want someone else to something. You want fate to bring you together. You want like maybe rom-com energy, some sort of fated event. And now you have to share a car as you drive 200 miles to what happened. It turns out to be your families or neighbors, and the flight's been canceled. I don't know. There's like something that you want fate to take the wheel. You want Jesus to take the wheel here. You're not, and to make things turn out well. You want things to turn out well. You want, that's what I'm hearing. Turn out well. You want the wheel to turn. You want the new phase, the good phase. You want a good phase. You want this to be lucky, to maybe be meaningful too. But I find it interesting that there's two people in this one. Like I've Wheel of Fortune, the turning of the wheel. All right, what's an issue here? Queen of Fire in reverse. Well, well, well. Here we have another interpretation of the harpy eagle. Like Queen of Fire in reverse. This is, oof. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this look on my face is like enough to describe my feelings for the Queen of Fire in reverse. This is someone who could be intuitive, someone maybe who puts themselves out as spiritual, but they are so self-absorbed. They're passionate, but only for their own advancement. They're passionate, but only for themselves. They are, this could be with the harpy eagle here, specifically a female energy, but I'm using the Forhasa Tarot, which is like all women anyway. So we're not going to get any men here. Even our kings are women here. But so Queen of Fire, someone that's passionately bad, like maybe even I don't know what that means. Selfish, sexually selfish, very selfish, very passionate only for their own self, destructive. Queen of Fire, very destructive. This would be an out of control fire. Oh, but some of the worst fires are the most controlled looking and seeming. The fire within, the passion within, the rage within is so contained, but the actions all seem, this reminds me of someone who's like very self-controlled externally, but internally they are a mess of rage and fire and out of control. And that's some of the most destructive behavior I've ever seen, is people who are a mess inside, but they show the world this self-controlled demeanor. But that self-control is all about destruction, destroying others, for their own uplift, for their own good. This Queen of Fire, this is a person here who's very destructive. This harpy eagle, very goal oriented, but what is that goal rooted in? Where is that goal coming from? What does that goal grow from? Does it grow from passion and love, or is it growing from out of like anger, hatred, fear, more difficult energies that are important to deal with, but not really good fuel for a fire, not really a good fuel for it's gasoline on the fire, not like nicely seasoned wood, and where we can like roast marshmallows around it. This one's gonna burn a lot of people. I think this Queen of Fire, there's rage here, and there's burning a lot of people. Anybody that gets in their way is going to get burned. Not even in their way. I think anyone who gets in proximity is going to get burned. And this could be male or female. It's just someone whose passion, whose intensity is very self-absorbed, a self-absorbed intensity. In the environment, we have 3 of air. Yeah, this person's like creating a bloodbath here. They are. This is very destructive energy. Man, I did not see that. At first glance, I was like, look, 2 of water, 3 of water, Wheel of Fortune. We have this whole like lovely flow up here. And then we have this Queen of Fire, and I can almost hear the Disney music coming in here. The villainous music. It's very villainous, like, feeling from here. So sometimes these are a little bit, you just may be, sometimes these cards can have these big storylines, these big archetype storylines, but you may just encounter a little bit of a bitch this week, and they're gonna like maybe say and do some things, or maybe they already have, that have broken some people's hearts, really hurt, really cut, really said. This Queen of Fire in reverse can very easily create this 3 of air energy, turning their back on people, slicing, dicing, just like mowing through people's feelings. Oh, and they think so much they've got the truth and they're right. There's a self-righteousness to this Queen of Fire that's I'm getting off of that. Because they're not even fully, because I think there might be a sense of self-control that's giving them the sense of I am in control, and a sense of self-righteousness. Sometimes in an argument, the worst person is the one who is the most self-controlled, and the one who is like being attacked or whatever is just like, what's going on? So they seem like wilder, when in fact, like, just because someone seems self-controlled, and that's what I'm getting with this 3 of air, something that seems very self-controlled, seems very precise, there's a self-righteousness to this 3 of air, that's coming from external self-control, where the internal is a complete mess. Anyway, so there's heartbreak here all over the place. And it looks like it comes from this friendship, possibly, or someone you've been hanging out with, or someone you thought you were connecting with. But someone is heartbroken, and whether that's the person you are connecting with or coming from the person you connected with in the past, I'm not sure. But there is some slicing and dicing. And the 3 of air also reminds me of words, right? It's air. So words being spoken, ideas, thoughts, they're all very painful, and they're coming from this Queen of Fire. And it's interesting, we have the 3 of water and the 3 of air here. So it's almost like this friendship, there's something really painful about it, or someone in this friendship is in quite a bit of pain. But with the 7 of Fire, as far as the standing your ground thing, with the overall, and maybe this is part of this crumbling that's happening. It's a little more painful than just like, oh, well, that's not going to work anymore. Let's move on to greener pastures. There's quite a bit of pain here. And so that may be something you don't know about this Queen of Fire. They may be experiencing quite a bit of pain also. This could be unknown. Not that it justifies, and not that you have to allow yourself to be treated a certain way, but this can create sort of some background understanding, because that's what I'm seeing with this Queen of Fire. Someone who appears to be self-controlled is actually saying and doing things that are quite harmful, but within them, they may be carrying quite a bit of pain. So Knight of Fire here, this is you. we're fighting fire with fire. Is that what we're doing? That, I mean, the Seven of Fire almost indicates that there is a need to fight fire with fire to meet that. But there is also a sense of Knight of Fire is being a little bit reckless, a little bit impulsive, very intuitive, moving, striking while the iron's hot. She's holding a snake. She's handling this energy just fine. And in fact, almost weaponizing it. What is she? There is a sense of like fighting fire with fire. This Queen of Fire, which would represent a person here, this is, don't be afraid to bite back here, right? And this overall comes with like stand your ground. And how you're standing this ground is fighting fire with fire. It's a passionate energy, you know. I almost want to, like, my instinct would be like, just walk away, just walk away. But this is like, you got a little flamethrower snake here. Feel free to throw a little flame. That's a shocking, but there's like 3 of fire, 7 of fire, Knight of Fire, Queen of Fire. There's a lot of fire here. Passion, project, spirituality, creativity. And maybe this is, the Knight is going to be communication. And Knight of Fire is going to be passionate communication. It could be sexuality too. But passionate communication. I almost want to say, like, I mean, normally we don't say words in anger. But if something arises and it feels right, or I don't want to say self-righteous or justified, because justified has all that sense of self-righteous, or can have that sense of self-righteous to it. But maybe there's a time here, and you'll know it when you see it, when it's time for you to communicate, maybe with a little fire, with a little passion. And maybe this is part of creating art. Maybe this is part of something, but I think it has to do with this friendship or this relationship, and speaking from spirit, passion, but also, you know, being aware of your own self-righteousness. But you and your loved ones are safe. I think we're seeing that it's okay to say something, like it's not gonna, and you're getting the instructions here too. So where we had Council of Monarchs, this almost seems like a grand jury. Council of Monarchs, I think, is the Hierophant energy. I don't know what, when it goes, but we have all the elements here, what it correlates to. But we have all the elements here. We have, I think, all of the kings, or all of these judges, a panel of judges, a jury. I think this is like, this seems to me to be like powers that be, laws, organizations, official. Something has to go official. Yeah, you stand up for yourself. Allow passion to move you. Allow maybe even anger to move you. I don't think we want to be this Queen of Fire necessarily, but allow the anger to move you. But see, it's very controlled, I feel like. Well, maybe I'm just saying that, but this does feel like she's got control over this snake. The snake is not controlling her. The snake is not choking her. The snake is not tempting her. The snake is not doing any. She holds this like lively flamethrower. I almost want to say it's like a tongue. It comes from deep within her, and it has some fire to it, but she is in full control of it. She's not out of control at all. Nobody here is out of control. You're not being asked to be out of control. You're asked to control and also communicate a passion, but under control. And then like this can be some sort of legal arrangement. If we're talking the Hierophant, we're talking, I just feel like organization, and it just feels like something goes to some sort of committee. I want to say like a contract also, and we had this contract, but this is like you being unbound from a contract, released from a contract. But here we have sort of some decision by I want to say like a group, a corporation, a company, a nonprofit, a legal something. But right, there's just a group of people that are going to judge the situation. So, I mean, your to-do list is this Knight of Fire, controlled expression. I mean, she's very calm as she's handling this snake energy. And maybe the snake is like vomiting up a bunch of, we'll see like someone turning someone who's about to vomit up a bunch of like fire, like just turning it so it doesn't damage anybody or get on me or anything like that, just turning someone's head so they can release it over here and not in a way that harms others. So I think that's one thing you're doing, is making sure that the release of passion, anger perhaps, or even, I don't know, this is appointed appropriately. And I think this Council of Monarchs will either intervene or there'll be an organizational reckoning of something, I think. Maybe they're revisiting a topic. And there's really something sort of maybe even anonymous. You might not know who's making these decisions. I want to say initiation too. An initiation process. But there's something about like creation, like all the elements are here. Are all the elements here? Water, fire, air. We don't have coins. Maybe that's why the coins are coming up. But yeah, Wheel of Fortune could be the big old coin. The big kahuna of coins. The big coin is the Wheel of Fortune. Lucky coin. All right, well, that was a ride. Let's find ourselves a mudra for the week. Well, what do we got here? Got a heart mudra, self-trust. I love this one because that's what you need to stay here, to hold your position. Self-trust. And we have transformation, which is, this is an external transformation. This is, the internal has to follow this external transformation. But there's been an external transformation. You don't have to continue doing, like if you've always been passive in the light of this Queen of Fire, you can now be active. You can now say something. You can now, you don't have to just take this if that's been your mode. So we have these two, but I'm gonna post these pictures of these at the end of the video. But let's talk about self-trust. Vajraparada Ma Mudra. Vajraparada Ma Mudra. I'm sure there's a way to say that in a more familiar, fun way. Enthusiasm, trust, and confidence supports respiratory system, releases tightness in the chest, ribs, and back, energizes and cultivates enthusiasm and self-confidence, helps with depression. Well, there's enough fire here to combat depression. Oh, Queen of Fire, this could be someone who's also depressed, who's lost their fire, who's lost their passion. Yeah, that's a possibility. I just was having such a reaction to it, maybe based on this harpy eagle, but this could be someone who's lost their passion, and maybe you're helping to donate some. And then there's like some sort of organization involved in the future of this situation. So unshakable confidence guides my journey forward. So this is confidence that has, the shakers have come to shake this confidence, but you're not letting it happen. So self-trust. So here we go. We've got interlacing the fingers from right and left hand to the first knuckle with the pinky fingers on the bottom. Well, extend thumbs and index finger upward. Hold the hands in front of the heart and chest with elbows relaxed down. So it seems like it's something like this. So when you're doing your meditations this week, you can pop that mudra in there. All right, and then a final prayer. There's a lot of focus on the hands here, honestly. I mean, obviously our hands are one of our most like productive appendages, but we have the holding of the hands here in Two of Water. We have the hands all joining together, the friendship hands all joining together to uplift this clam shell. We have these hands turning the wheel of fortune. And then we have these hands holding this. We have the hands holding the snake. We have the hand holding a knife. I mean, not to make too much of it, but it does seem like there's a lot of handage here. So I don't know. Maybe we're paying attention to hands this week. Change is in the air. Well, yeah, we already got that here. And we got the transformation here too. So change is in the air for sure. Sometimes we take things for granted and forget to stop and realize how incredible the ordinary things can be. Growth does often seem improbable. This is why we're being asked to have faith. Yet it happens every day in many ways. So too is something growing in your life that seems at the moment unlikely or impossible, yet it will happen anyway. Have faith, trust your feelings, and relax. Change is in the air. All right, change is in the air. Beautiful. And here we have like, what is this? Dawn, dusk, changing of the day. We had the night coming to the midday light. Maybe this happens in one day. Maybe this whole storyline, right? I was saying that they get kind of big. But maybe it happens in one day, because I'm kind of seeing the Wheel of Fortune, this Two of Water, Three of Water, Wheel of Fortune as just being one day, one rotation of the earth. All right, well, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here. I very much appreciate it. And we'll talk to each other, or we'll do this again soon. Bye.